Hey, hi, and welcome to A Taste of Fusion. Today, I am creating a smorgasbord of different cuisines. We're starting off with a fantastic take on bhagare bengan or anything that's cooked with aubergine. I'm going to create a glorious little aubergine entree. For my main course, I'm taking aloo keema or chicken aloo keema, mince and, potato, merging it with a Lancashire hot pot and coming up with something that's fusion-tastic. And for dessert, of course, we are taking the mango root on it all. A little mango, a little sponge cake, a little cream, and something delicious at the end. But now enough of that. I've got to go pick up my veg, get back to the kitchen, and get fusing. Okay, so we're ready to get started with our appetizer, which today are aubergines. Now, usually bengan or aubergines are created in a curry form with yogurt and a lot of different spices, but what I'm going to do today is create a little bengan or an aubergine pot. Now for that, very simply, I have aubergine here, which I have taken all the insides out, taken the pulp out. Basically, I've used a spoon and scooped it up. Now, what I'm going to do to this, get my foil and grab a couple of them, layer them out on your oven dish like so, in some foil, because we're going to use the foil to wrap them up. Now, next step, a little olive oil. Drizzle it around the side and on the insides like so. Now, a pinch of salt, pinch of red chili flakes, and a dash of balsamic vinegar on each. Now, all we do is we wrap them up in little parcels like so. And next, they go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Right, so that's in the oven for a good 10 to 15 minutes. Now for the filling. For that I need a frying pan, which I'm just going to put to the side. Now technically the filling that goes into these aubergines would consist of yogurt, a number of different spices. I'm going to create a composition of some beautiful things like fruit, rice, bring it all together and create a fantastic fusion dish. Now for this I have a little bit of rice that I've parboiled. I'm just going to keep this to the side. Next, I'm going to use the fruits of the season. And I have these glorious little crab apples, which are just juicy and tender and got a slight tartness to them. I'm just going to slice them up, like so. And I want to keep the peel on because the peel is the one with that little tartness to it. So I've got one crab apple sliced up there beautifully. Then I've got these apricots. Now I've chosen greenish apricots because they're slightly unripe and they've got a little tartness to them as well, which means they won't give that much sweetness to my dish. So just slice up a couple of apricots. Right, so that's done. Now all of this goes straight into my pan. Okay, now to spice it up. 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes, and half a teaspoon of cumin, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Using my spoon, I'm just going to mix these things up and let them sit in my pan. Now, that's going to just marinate for a little bit. I've got some ginger here. I'm going to take about 1.5 teaspoons of ginger. I'm just going to slice it up, keeping it in long slices, finely slit it through. And this too, straight into my pan. Okay, now we are ready to fry it up. Okay, so get your pan on a high heat and just move everything around. You've got to wait for it to start sizzling. You've got to let this cook a little before you enter the rice in. Right, as all the spices start to cook, I'm going to pour in half a cup of water. And I'm just going to let this start simmering. I'm just going to turn the heat down slightly. Now, whilst this is simmering, you've got to move very fast. You've got to take half an onion and slice it up. And you're adding the onion in later because you don't want it to lose itself with the fruit, which is very important. In it goes. And the juice of 1 lemon. Right, once all the water is evaporated, you then need to add in about a tablespoon more of oil and then about 4 tablespoons of the rice. Now, stir fry it up very quickly. Now you're going to add a little bit more oil to it, but unlike risotto, you're not going to cook it for a very, very long time. Right, then all you need to do is add in 1.5 tablespoons of fresh cream. There we go. Mix it in, and that's it. Turn the heat off and let it sit. Now it's time to get your aubergine out from the oven. So the juices have seeped through the inside and this is ready. Now all you have to do for your entree is fill this up and serve it. Right, now it's time to make our main course. Okay, now for our main course, which is a fusion take on aloo keema. So what do I do with mince and potatoes? Well, first of all, what I've done is I have boiled some potatoes and I've mashed them. And this is a kg of potatoes. Now into this, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of red chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and half a teaspoon of turmeric. Then I'm going to pour in about 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 1.5 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of fresh cream. Then to this, I'm going to add 1 crab apple that I picked up. Now this will just give a glorious little flavor and texture. I'm going to slice it up like I did for the appetizer. In that goes. 1 pod of garlic, which I'm going to give a light bash to and then chop finely. I'm actually just going to mince it up quite well. And then in this goes, straight in. Then I'm going to take 2 very fiery little green chilies. I'm going to score them through like so, and then mince them quite finely as well because I want them to be quite minute. In they go. So then I'm going to grab a fork, just smush all these things together. Next, I'm going to pour in the juice of half a lemon. I need 2 little ramekins, which I'm just going to place here for a moment. Right, so then I'm going to spoon some of this mixture into my ramekins, just at the base, and just push it down, almost like creating a layering of potato. Okay, now when you've got quite a bit of potato in your ramekin, make sure you've pressed it down. And then, using your spoon, start putting it around the sides. Alright, so your ramekin pots are ready. Now you have to make the filling that goes into them. For your filling, we require, I'm going to use 3 pods of garlic, which I'm just going to bash, like so with my knife, and then slice up. Now I'm not going to dice them, I'm just going to slice them up. There we go. 3 pods of garlic. Then 1.5 tablespoons of ginger. Again, I'm going to slice up first. And then I'm going to strip. Right, so that's our ginger done. Next step, get half an onion. Again, slice it up. And all the base things that you require that are going to go into your mince are ready now. Now here I have 1.5 kgs of mince, but I'm only going to cook 1 kg of it. So get your pan on a very high flame, quickly. Take all these condiments that you've just sliced up and put them straight in. No oil yet. Then I'm going to take the chicken and put in a kg of the chicken. Now this is chicken mince, so it's far more healthy. and it cooks super fast. Once your mince is in there, next thing, you need some olive oil and some balsamic vinegar. Just going to pour in about 1.5 tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Mix it up like so. Right, next step, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1.5 teaspoons of coriander powder. And mix it all up. Right, now I need to let this cook for about a good 8 minutes. So I'm just going to put my spoon here. I'm going to put a lid on this and turn the heat down slightly. In the meantime, I'm going to make a lovely little onion chutney to go with this. Right, now for my onion chutney, I need onions, as it's an onion chutney. So I'm just going to slice up some onions here. 1 onion should do the trick. There we are. And then I need a small frying pan, which I have right here. And into my frying pan, I'm going to gently layer in the onions. And onto this, I'm going to pour some coconut rice vinegar, the juice of 1.5 lemon, then half a tablespoon of white sugar, and get this onto a high flame. Next step, I'm not going to use olive oil, I'm just going to use regular oil, and I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons worth of that. Once it starts spitting, I'm going to add in 1 glass of water, and then just let it cook on its own. Okay, now let's check on our chicken. Right, so our chicken has broken up. There's just a few large bits left, which I'm using my spoon to break up because I'm not actually cooking the chicken as you would under its natural process. We are speeding things up. So that looks pretty done to me. I'm going to break it up a little bit more. Right, I'm going to turn the heat off, bring it over to this side. Right, so our chicken's done. Next, all we need to do is take some of that and put it into our little potato pockets, like so. That's done. Now, I'm just going to get a little bit of olive oil and drizzle a little bit on top. I'm going to pop these into a preheated oven at 180 degrees for 15 minutes. Right, so that's in the oven. Now, what about our little onion chutney on the side? So, now that the onions have released their water, their color, I'm going to add in just a pinch of salt, a pinch of red chili flakes, mix it up with a spoon. I'm just going to give it one last stir. Turn the heat off. Make sure the onions are evenly placed in there and just let them steep a bit like tea. So that's it, we're done with the main course. Now it's time to make dessert. Okay, now I'm ready to make dessert, which again is a tribute to the mango because they're in season. Over here I have 2 different varieties of mangoes. There's Sindri and there's Anvarotol. Now I've just chopped them up. I'm going to put them straight in to my frying pan. So that's 4 mangoes in there. To this I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar, not too much though, because they are quite sweet. Then 2 tablespoons of cream into this. Now very quickly get this onto a high flame and let it sizzle. I'm just going to create a fruit compote and I'm going to merge this with a little pound cake, which I love, and I think it makes a super cool, super fast dessert. I'm going to pour in about 100 mils of milk. Whilst this is breaking down, next step, I've got a little bit of pound cake here. I'm just going to take 6 slices and crumble them in to this lovely mixture. Now I'm just going to mix it up and let it all come together in a glorious mass. I'm going to add in a little bit more fresh cream. 3 tablespoons of fresh cream go in. and an extra 50 ml of milk. Once the sponge has soaked in all the flavors and you can smell that lovely sort of buttery smell of it, you need to take it off the heat and bring it over here. Now, into this, just for that added extra zing, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of condensed milk. Mix it up, and it's a lovely little gooey mass. And into little dishes like so, I'm just going to put it in. Okay, so that's that. Now this goes into the fridge till your guest comes and you serve it. So we are done with our appetizer, main course and dessert. Now all we have to do is plate up. Right, we are ready to eat, and I have been joined by the fantastically, fabulously talented Tina Sani. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Well, I know we've been chit-chatting about so many wonderful things, and I actually would love to continue doing that, but I've got to feed you all this.
All right, okay.
Before we
so you talk,
start
I
up.
eat.
Right, done, Ji, done. That's the way to do it. Allow me to introduce to you our starter, which is aubergine. Or bengan.
Okay.
So
I'm going to eat this. It looks good. It's got rice in it.
Ji.
And I'm doing what they've always done, huh? In the primitive times, they see it, they smell it, look at it. Very interesting. Really interesting.
Thank you.
Very nice. I think it's a wonderful way of because we hardly, I think the only time we eat this vegetable is when it's in a very traditional style, here in Pakistan at least, but I know that.
And it's got a lot of oil in it and a lot of spice.
Very nice.
Well, thank you.
Very nice. This is wonderful.
Right, Ji, now.
So, pass.
Thank you. Thank you. Slow. Thank you so much.
Wunderbar.
Okay, wonderful. Now, this is a take on aloo keema.
Okay. Really nice.
Thank you.
Got it. You've got this one. This can be so easily put on a very our table.
Absolutely.
You know, on a very traditional food as well.
Traditional food, and you'd get away with it because of all that bridge of spices.
Yes. You've done it.
Oh,
again.
I've done it again. Da, da, da.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Right, Ji, now for the, what I think, I don't know, which has slowly been melting away.
Okay.
This is just a little take on a mango bread pudding. There's nothing too fancy about it.
Okay. That is very clever. This is good stuff. This is really nice. So come again, what did you put in this?
A little mango, a little milk, a little sugar, a little cream. Blitz that up, add in a little sponge cake.
Do you know what a wonderful dessert on a hot day in any case, because you're always, I'm really bad at desserts because at the end of all my dinners, the dessert comes from either some meetha wala or some cake, which is really boring.
These are so simple.
I need to understand the flavor better. Okay, I need a third bite.
Oh, gee,
Just to get to know the flavor. I'm really being buka here.
You can have as much as you want to, and I will cook it for you anytime.
I love cooking, but kind of tired of doing the usual dal and aloo
It's
gosh.
a taste of
But this
fusion
is
all the way
lovely.
for you. Thank you so much.
Fabulous.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you ever so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining us. And remember, if you want to see me fuse anything or have any comments, write in on fusion@dawnnews.tv. From Tina Sani and myself, take care. Khuda Hafiz.